The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
The Parliament passed the amendment to the law on remuneration of labor in public institutions in the third reading with 77 votes. According to the amendment, the specific official salary for state political officials defined by the draft law is adjusted to comply with the coefficients defined by the law. Therefore, the remuneration of these officials is determined by multiplying the coefficients by the base official salary as determined by law. In January 2024, Georgia's foreign exchange reserves decreased by 107 million USD to 4.74 billion USD, according to the report published by the National Bank of Georgia. As of the statistics, foreign exchange reserves decreased by 156 million USD in January 2024. Therefore, the decrease made up 263 million USD in the last 2 months, while the decrease amounted to 375 million lari in the last 3 months. ISET Policy Institute, International School of Economics at TSU, published Khachapuri Index for February 2024. According to the document, in February 2024, the average cost of cooking one standard portion of Emiratian khachapuri stood at around 7 lari, marking a 3.3% increase compared to the previous month. However, in a year-to-year comparison, the price of khachapuri decreased by 1.5% compared to February 2023. The civil society appeals to the European Union to publish an interim report on the implementation of 9 priority areas identified by the EU Commission. The appeal was sent to Mr. Oliver Varhey, European Commissioner for Neighbourhood and Enlargement, and a copy was sent to EU delegation to Georgia, diplomatic missions of EU member states accredited in Georgia. This is The Checkpoints. I'm Elena Kwangilashvili, author and the host of the show, and the Checkpoints team is ready to sum up Business and Economics Week for you. Business Media Georgia continues its global expansion strategy, establishing a new bureau in Armenia following its successful venture into the United States of America and Azerbaijan. After working in test mode for several weeks, its bureau is fully launched. The Yerevan bureau is headed by Arshaluis Mktesian, who has 15 years of working experience in both Armenian and international media. Arshaluis Mktesian provides BMG readers with local and regional news in English and Russian. We're glad that such an experienced professional as Arshaluis Mktesian has joined the BMG team. Stopping the Armenia Bureau and selecting a suitable representative took relatively more time, but by now everything has been resolved and the Yerevan-based bureau is fully operational. I'm sure that the Armenian and international business community will actively use our platform, which is already available in 4 languages for several months for the public interest in business news, said Georgi Sakadze, general producer of BMG. Currently, BMG provides news in English, Turkish, and Russian languages in addition to its native Georgian content. The media outlet boasts a substantial online readership with over 8.4 million unique readers per year, according to Google Analytics data from 2023. The European Business Association and the American Chamber of Commerce in Georgia organized a members' meeting with the ambassador of the United States of America to Georgia and the ambassador of the European Union to Georgia, aimed at discussing important topics for private sector representatives. Irakli Baidashvili, president of the American Chamber of Commerce, opened the event and delivered a welcome speech, followed by the panel discussion on Georgia's EU candidate country status, focusing on business and economic opportunities. The panel featured Robin Danigan, the ambassador of the United States of America to Georgia, and Pavel Hurchinsky, the ambassador of the European Union to Georgia. George Walton, executive director of the American Chamber of Commerce, moderated the discussion. The members of the EBA and AmCham Diplomatic Corps and representatives of the international financial institutions attended the event. Guests were able to pose questions and contribute to the dialogue, fostering an enriching exchange of ideas and viewpoints.
To be here today with the American Chamber of Commerce and the European Business Association. They're hosting this conference to bring together my colleague, the ambassador of the EU, Ambassador Hrzenski, and me to talk about our support for Georgia's Euro-Atlantic path and its move to become a member of the EU. This path that we have is going to require really close cooperation between all segments of Georgian society, government, civil society, the private sector, to realize the Euro-Atlantic trajectory. And so the private sector is going to play such an important role in that process. So it's a real pleasure to be here today to meet with them to talk about the next steps.
Today is a very important event for the European Business Association because we have the luck, we have the European ambassador here and the US ambassador speaking with the business about European integration, the candidate status, what's the next, the delegations, the progress report that we work on. So we're going to have a lot of questions. I have to add here very special also thank to AmCham because we're working together on this event with the American Chamber of Commerce, which is important also to show that business associations working together with each other because the business needs to have one voice. And we're honored to have these two big ambassadors here today speaking to the business and just openly communicate. European market, very short. It is unnecessary for the business. There is not even one business who told we don't need European market. We need the European market. Why? It's a bigger market. Georgia has a very small market, so we need our economy to grow. We need to have integration with the European Union. Now, okay, they are bottlenecks, but this is why an association is for. One by one, we're trying to reduce the trade barriers, support businesses, help them to overcome, and this is not an overnight thing also. It takes time. But I'm quite convinced. I'm living already for 20 years in Georgia. I've seen the progress, and I'm seeing the progress every year more and more. And we need to just keep on working what we're doing, making sure there's a good legislation, fair competition, good skills laws, labor laws, and you need to do this together with the business sector. I would refer to, we had the EU Business Climate Report. With all the companies made a report what are the biggest issues. And I'm not going to hide it. The biggest issue was, of course, political instability, this discussion. You have this everywhere. Bureaucracy, you have this also in Europe, bureaucracy, but Georgia just cannot afford it. We need to be better than the other ones. And these things, yes, they are a hurdle for the business. We need to work with it, and we need to continue working together with government, with institutions, with embassies, with the business included also, to solve one by one. Everybody knows the rule of law is still not okay for the business. I'm not now telling the rule of law, the legislation, etc. I'm just telling the trust. There is not enough trust from the business in the legislation yet. So it is necessary to make sure that there is more trust, that more investors will come here. You see on my banner here standing in the back, doing business in Georgia will be the same as doing business in Europe. This is what we have to go for. Do you trust the justice system in Belgium, in France, in Italy? They're also not the best. They also have their problems, but the trust is there, and this is what the business needs, trust in the justice system.
We have a very important meeting held today in Tbilisi, and I'm really grateful to the European Business Association and American Chamber of Commerce for bringing together their members, private businesses, and organizing an exchange with me and with my American counterpart, US Ambassador in Tbilisi, about the future development of Georgia and economic prospects linked to Georgia's candidate status and future membership in the European Union. So we have two business associations, European Business Association and American Chamber of Commerce, bringing their members and organizing an exchange with EU and US ambassador. Very interesting formula, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion. We were all celebrating in December last year a historic decision of 27 EU member states to grant Georgia candidate status. I was personally very happy, and we have all congratulated each other. This is a very important step because formally Georgia is a candidate country for EU membership, but in order to get there, there are several stages. The next stage is opening of accession negotiations. We sincerely hope that we will get to this stage as quickly as possible. In order to get there, Georgia received 9 steps. Those 9 steps need to be implemented. The implementation is ongoing. We will review the state of implementation with another enlargement report. We actually started working on this report already now. We had consultations with civil society yesterday. We will have consultations with businesses in the coming week. We will get input from the authorities. We will engage everyone in a very open, transparent way. And we sincerely hope that till October this year, when a new enlargement report will be drafted by the Commission with recommendations, there will be enough progress made on all 9 steps so that there will be a positive recommendation from the side of the European Commission to 27 EU member states to open accession negotiations. And this decision, again, will be taken by 27 member states by unanimity December this year. So what we need now is as much progress as possible on all 9 steps so that European Commission can give a positive recommendation and member states can decide to move to the next stage, opening accession negotiations. I will not assess the level of implementation today. It's too early. What is very important is that in spite of the fact that, as we all know, there are elections in Georgia in October, which naturally will draw a lot of attention and a lot of energy of everyone, all political leaders. What is very important that in parallel, everyone works in order to move forward on the 9 steps, which means a need for the government to be inclusive and to involve the opposition. For the opposition, it means a constructive approach and trying to work together with the government in order to make progress. And very important from our point of view has been always meaningful involvement of civil society. So I sincerely hope that in spite of electoral campaign, there will be a national consensus and everyone working together in the direction of European integration.
Okay. More news and outlook this week from our reporter Natia Taktakishvili.
Tarkhan Mourawi, sales and marketing manager of Tatsminda Park, declares that the park worked with full capacity. In addition, one of their spaces under the club was quite busy. According to her, 70% of the guests were tourists, while 30% were local residents. China and Kazakhstan occupy the largest share among the international guests. She notes that after the pandemic, Georgian visitors became very active. Locals mostly visit us on weekends, while tourists prevail on weekdays. In 2023, we spent all resources on infrastructural projects. Current year is very important for us because after several years of waiting, the cable car connecting Rustaveli and Tatsminda will be opened. We have been waiting it for over 12 years. Supposedly, the cable car will be launched in 2024. We will probably open the food court together with the cable car, says Tarkhan Mourawi. According to her, various festive events will be held on Tatsminda in 2024. Like the previous year, Tatsminda Park is a landscaped park located at the top of Mount Tatsminda, overlooking the Georgian capital Tbilisi. The park has carousels, water slides, a roller coaster, dark ride, entertainment places, and Ferris wheel at the edge of the mountain, offering a splendid view over the city. Chirali Abano and Spa plans to open a restaurant space from 2025. Jaba Mamatashvili, the executive director of the company, told BMDG. According to him, at the moment the company is combining 2 bus and they will start from March. We want to launch an outdoor restaurant. The new facility will be located on the top of King Erekli bus. Its opening is planned for 2025. We have just finished the renovation of the King Erekli bus, so we don't know the exact volume of investment for the new project. At this stage, over 50 tables should be placed in the restaurant space. At this stage, we employ about 60 people in total, but after the opening of the restaurant space, we will probably exceed 100 employees, says Mamatashvili. The executive director of Chirali Abano and Spa also talks about the challenges and notes that the Preservation of the mentioned historical monument requires constant maintenance and restoration, which is associated with large investments. In addition, he also discusses the issue of personnel, noting that staff shortage is a painful topic. The distinctive, luxurious and elegant place is located in the heart of Old Tbilisi. The legendary colorful bath is renovated look of centuries-old history. Handmade bag producing company Aya plans to increase its marketing activities and diversify its assortment this year. Tamar Tsipuria, co-founder of the company, told BMWG. The company has been on the market for 2 years and produces handmade bags in limited quantities. According to Tsipuria, the reason is that the raw materials are bought on the local market in one of the Italian stores where the residues of branded fabrics are sold. We create exclusive products with limited editions. We buy raw materials in one of the stores where the waste of branded high-quality fabric is sold. Our company mainly sells the products online. In addition, we are also represented on Etsy platform where there is a very high demand, and we have a stand in the shop Gaba. The cost of the products ranges from 200 lari to 300 lari, but I must mention that the purchasing power in the country is very low. People often ask to reduce the prices, Tsipuria said. According to her, at this stage, 2 people are employed in the enterprise, and with the increase in production, their number is planned to increase to 5 people. According to the co-founder of the brand, depending on the demand, it's planned to arrange an atelier exhibition space, but because it requires an investment of about 20,000 lari, the plan is temporarily postponed for the future. Tika Khorava, manager of Greenwood Hotel in Bakuriani, talks about the challenges and trends in the sector. According to her, the hotel combines rooms and restaurant space. The tourist facility operates during winter and summer, while it's closed in spring and autumn due to low demand. As Khorava notes, it's very expensive to operate the hotel during this period. In general, Bakuriani is having a hard time because we don't have snow. Last year, we worked with 50% load at the expense of the championship, so we hosted both the participants and their family members. The trend is not high this year either. We are already closing in the middle of March. According to this data, we allotted with 40%. At this time, the cost of accommodation for one night with breakfast amounts to 240 lari as an average. In addition, we have a restaurant which we are actively developing. Greenwood consists of 10 rooms in total and can host over 40 people. Last year, we hosted Arab tourists as well as Russian and Ukrainian tourists, Khorava said. According to her, they have no plans this year and the summer prices are currently unknown. The hotel employs a total of 5 people who work seasonally. Greenwood Hotel is an ecologically clean wooden hotel which has been operating in Bakuriani since 2017 and combines 10 rooms with a restaurant space. The hotel is represented on Booking.ag and cooperates with many travel companies. Nino Babunashvili, general manager of Hotel Arge, declares that the hotel will complete the infrastructural renovation in a month. We renovated the old winery. In addition, we will have a new restaurant space. The company invested a total of $500,000 to fully equip the tourist facility. Accommodation price in the hotel starts from 140 lari per night during the low season and reaches 270 lari when the demand is high, says Babunashvili. The manager also talks about the challenges and notes that reservations are still the problem. According to her, there is a lack of tourists in the country and Kakheti is paralyzed during the off-season. As for the number of employees, there are about 30 locals employed in the hotel and their number changes depending on the season. Hotel Arge has been operating since 2018 in Ruispiri village. The complex combines restaurant space, hotel, a wine cellar and a conference hall. In addition, customers can taste Georgian traditional dishes, chacha and Georgian wine. Spice producer company Ojakhori is exporting its products to 15 countries and the number of exporting countries is expanding every year. Salome Neparidze, the marketing and public relations manager of Ojakhori, spoke about this in TV program Women's Narrative. During the 14 years of operation, there hasn't been a year when company Ojakhori did not add a new exporting country. Last year, we exported our products to America. This year, French population will have the opportunity to taste a variety of Ojakhori products. In total, we export to 15 countries, and we can say that in 2023 we have increased our sales in European market by 50%, says Salomina Paridze. According to her, Ukraine accommodated for 30% of total exports of Ojahuri, although at this stage the export of products to this country has been suspended due to the Russia-Ukraine war. The company Ojahuri has been on the market for 14 years and currently produces about 90 types of spices. In addition, the company actively produces marinade sauces and jams, which are sold on both local and international markets. The price of Ojahuri products range from 2 lari to 6 lari. Rubber toys and accessories manufacturing company Shapoplast aims to replace imported products in the market. The founder and director of the company, Vato Demurishvili, spoke about this in TV program Business Morning. Shapoplast was founded 18 months ago. The enterprise is not fully launched, but it has already received a German certificate on the safety of raw materials. Now the company is waiting for a certificate on toy safety. When we started the business, we imported goods from China, but we had the idea that at some stage we should start our own production line. 18 months ago, we applied to TBC Bank for funding, and the bank obtained a loan for the second stage of development. In the local market, there is a very large number of imported products. Rubber is not produced in the country, therefore we have to use imported rubber. Considering this, Georgia is a big market for us, and our goal is to replace imported products. The next stage will be the development of export directions. Demurishvili says, according to him, not only toys are produced in their enterprise, but they also produce clothing labels, watch straps, and other products. According to him, at this time, Shapoplast can produce from 100 to 500,000 units of products. Poultry company Chirina will launch the production of sunflower oil, for which they have already built a factory. The company plans to buy raw materials from the farmers. The founder of Chirina, Revaz Vashakidze, told TV program Business Morning. According to him, the sunflower harvest during Soviet Georgia was quite high. Therefore, the factories were actively working. As of today, the production of sunflower oil is significantly down. We consume over 200 tons of oil per month. Therefore, our interest is the production of sunflower oil in Georgia and the reduction of dependence on imported products. Russia is the main exporting country for Georgia. However, when Russia creates a deficit, Ukrainian oil also enters the market. There are different varieties of sunflowers, but we are interested in high oil sunflowers. These are special varieties that Georgia does not produce and are imported from abroad. For its cultivation, we can buy up to 6,000 or 8,000 tons of sunflower seeds of these varieties and make oil from them. We will have the opportunity to satisfy the consumption of Chirina as well as to meet the demand of other companies, Vashakidze said. Chirina is one of the largest agricultural enterprises in Georgia and generally in the Southern Caucasus region. The company has been operating on the Georgian market since 2010 and for this period managed to establish itself as the leading food producing company in the country.
At the beginning of the 2023-2024 academic year, 62 higher education institutions were in Georgia, which 19 state and 43 private institutions, approximately two-thirds of higher educational institutions, are located in Tbilisi. In the same period, 54.3 thousand students were enrolled in Georgian higher education institutions, out of them 32.4 thousand in state universities and 1.9 thousand in private universities. Student admissions increased by 8.4% compared to the same period of the previous year. The number of students in Georgian higher education institutions amounted to around 178,000, which is around 10% more compared to the previous academic year. 59% of the total number of students study in state higher education institutions and around 41% in private institutions. 51% of students are female and 49% are male. In 2023, around 26,000 students graduated from higher education institutions. That is 2% more compared to the previous year. 60% of the graduates are women and around 40% are men. The number of graduates in state higher education institutions is 1.7 times higher compared to the number of graduates in the private universities. The number of foreign students in Georgian higher education institutions amounted to around 31,000, which is around 23% higher compared to the previous year. Number of professors in higher education institutions is 11,000, which is around 6% more compared to the same indicator of the previous year. In 2023, the number of doctoral students admitted at universities increased by around 6% compared to the previous year and amounted to 930. The number of doctoral students has decreased by around 2% and amounted to around 3,500. Compared to the previous year, the number of persons who completed their work for doctoral degrees has decreased by 3% and amounted to 521. As for the indicators of vocational institutions in Georgia in 2023, by the end of 2023, 96 educational institutions, 54 public and 42 private, were in Georgia that conducted admission of students in vocational education programs. In 2023, 15,500 students were admitted, around 48% of whom were women and 52% men. Compared to 2022, student admissions have increased by around 10%. As for the data by regions, Tbilisi has the leading position with the number of admitted students, and that's around 38%, followed by Ajara 17%, Imereti 10%, Samegreluzem Muswaneti around 10%, Gakheti 4.8%, Kvemukartli about 8%. In 2023, 264 students were admitted with special educational needs, 35.2% of whom were women and 64.8% men. As for the data by regions, Tbilisi has the leading position with the number of admitted students, 42.4%, and next is Kvemukartli, 10.2%. In 2023, the number of graduates was around 8,000, out of which 48.3% were women and 51.7% men. Most of them come from engineering, manufacturing, construction programs, services, business, administration, and law programs. Georgia's leading investment bank, Galton Taggart, focused on the revenue side of the education sector. I will try to summarize key findings and key projections. Georgia's education sector revenue totaled 2.6 billion lari in 2022, up 10.5% year over year. Even though government expenditure on education has tripled over 2010-2022, standing at 3.7% of GDP in 2022, the indicator is still low compared to the EU, where education expenditure accounts for 0.5% of GDP. Overall, Galton Taggart expect the education sector to grow by 8 to 10% annual rate in the medium term, backed by increased state financing and strong demand for educational services. General education sector revenue was up 11.8% year over year to 1.3 billion lari in 2022. The majority of pupils are still concentrated in public schools in Georgia, but the private sector enjoys rising enrollments and tuition fees due to higher perceived quality compared to public schools. Galton Taggart believe this trend will continue, backed by increased disposable income, urbanization, and positive demographic trends in the medium term. Despite strong growth, the private general education system in Georgia is still fragmented. Only 11 private schools have more than 1,000 enrollments, collectively accounting for 21% of the private market as of 2022-2023, leaving room to play M&A. The higher education sector revenue was up 4.5% year-over-year to 0.8 billion lari in 2022. The majority of students are also concentrated in public universities, but the private sector is gaining a share, mainly driven by the rapidly rising foreign students. Notably, demand has further surged after the relocation of Indian students from Ukraine in 2022, cementing Georgia's status as an education hub. This is evident as the inbound mobility rate in Georgia, which stands at 15.2%, surpasses the rates of many other countries, including the EU at 8.4% and the US at 5.1%. As of the academic year 2022-2023, bachelor-level programs in social sciences, business and law were the most common, whereas at the master's level, health and welfare programs were in high demand, primarily due to foreign students. And how did the economy perform this week? Here is our short overview.
In February 2024, the consumer price index decreased by 0.04% compared to the previous month, while the annual inflation rate amounted to 0.3%, according to the preliminary data from the National Statistics Office of Georgia. As of the document with regard to the annual core inflation, the price increased by 2.6%, while the annual core inflation without tobacco amounted to 2.4%. The annual inflation rate was mainly influenced by price change for the following groups: food and non-alcoholic beverages. The price in the group decreased by 3.5%, contributing minus 1.2 percentage points to the overall annual inflation rate. Transport, the price for the group increased by 4.8%, contributing 0.61 percentage point to the overall index. Within the group, the price increased for operation of personal transport equipment and purchase of vehicles. Miscellaneous goods and services, the price for the group increased by 8.6%, contributing 0.46 percentage points to the overall index. Alcoholic beverages and tobacco, the prices increased by 5.5%, with the relevant contribution of 0.37 percentage points to the overall annual inflation rate. The price increased for both alcoholic beverages and tobacco. The Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze said on Tuesday that in 2023 the income from tourism amounted to more than $4 billion USD. As he noted during the presentation of summer report on tourism and aviation, it's expected that revenues from tourism will reach $4.5 billion USD this year, and the international airports of Georgia will serve 6.8 million passengers. You all know well that tourism is the most important direction of Georgian economy, which makes a special contribution to the development and progress of our country. Along with the economic one, tourism is also given the greatest political weight. Tourism contributes to the deepening of relations between people, which is an important factor in ensuring the security of our country. It should be also noted that development of tourism is suited to Georgian culture and traditions, Prime Minister said. Georgian Economy Minister Levon Davitashvili on Tuesday highlighted the role of successful operation of tourist and airline industry's growth of the domestic economy and said they were outcomes of planned, consistent policies of the state. In the presentation of Georgian tourism and airline sector 2023 summarizes and plans for the current year, Davitashvili said the past year had been particularly successful for the industry. The Ministry of Economy said the presentation also emphasized the importance of the development of two crucial sectors of the economy for overall economic growth through job creation and enhancement of prosperity for the population. Mariam Kurevishvili, the Deputy Economy Minister, said the results in tourist and airline industries include record high revenues and record number of passengers received at 3 international airports of the country and called the numbers particularly impressive. Our goal is to ensure that growth of the tourist industry reflects the overall welfare and prosperity of our society and its citizens. We aim to strengthen our country's economy by contributing to support tourism, which has proven to be a significant contributor to job creation in all regions, towns and villages of our nation, Kurevishvili said. The Deputy Minister added Georgia had very ambitious plans for the current year to achieve new success, new historic results and new record data. In Q4 2023, trade, manufacturing, human health, social work activities are leading in business sector by number of employees. However, enterprises engaged in the construction activities, transportation and storage, information and communication and accommodation and food service activities have also a significant share, according to the preliminary data from the National Statistics Office of Georgia. As of the document, 41.5% of total number of persons employed comes on large, 21.3% on medium and 37.2% on small businesses. The total number of employees amounted to 742,000 persons. The total personal cost of enterprises equal to 4,991 million lari. In Q4 2023, average monthly remuneration of employees persons equal to 2,196 lari, while remuneration of employed women made up 1,687 lari. Average monthly salary of employed persons by size of enterprises is as follows: large business 2,250 lari, medium business 2,250 lari, small business 1,180 lari. Construction of Shorapani-Argota section of the Rikoti Pass is in the final stage. Georgian population will be able to use the Zestaponi bypass road from May, said Irakli Karseladze, Minister of Regional Development and Infrastructure. Opening of Zestaponi bypass road will significantly contribute to both comfortable and smooth movement as well as increasing the road safety standards. Naturally, works will continue on the remaining sections of the road, Irakli Karseladze noted. The 42-kilometer-long road construction at Rikoti Pass has been going since 2019. The project includes construction of 97 bridges and 51 tunnels. The total value of the project amounts to 2.6 billion lari. The works will complete in 2024. In January 2024, construction cost index increased by 4.4% compared to the previous month. The change was mainly due to a 22.9% decrease in average monthly nominal wages of employees in the construction sector, which contributed minus 4.7 percentage points to the total index change, according to the National Statistics Office of Georgia. As of the document, compared to January 2023, the construction cost index increased by 6.2%. The latter was largely caused by the 18.7% increase in average monthly nominal wages of employees in the construction sector and by the 3.3% increase in the prices of construction materials, which contributed 4.42 and 1.94 percentage points to the total index change, respectively. Along with these, the construction cost index posted a 12.2% increase compared to February 2022. Exports of Georgian wine to 47 countries of the world amounted to 16.7 million liters between January and February, totaling $47.6 million USD. The country's national wine agency announced on Tuesday. The agency said the volume of exported wine had increased by 16.7 million liters, a 43% rise compared to the same period of the last year. It added the strategic market for Georgia wine in Poland had experienced a notable boost of 27% in exports this year following a 2-year downturn due to the crisis in the wider region. Generally, the largest export market maintained stable growth rates of 4% over the past few years. It's also said, while exports grew in other strategic markets as well: Estonia, Japan, Ukraine, Canada, and Israel. The agency also noted 6.3 million liters of alcoholic beverages were exported to 31 countries around the world between January and February in amounts totaling 35.2 million USD. The volume of exported alcoholic beverages increased by 48%, while revenues amounted to 46%.
And that's all for today. We will meet on Sunday, 11 a.m. sharp. But before that, of course, check us out on bm.g for more news and outlook in business and economics in Georgia and beyond.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.